So now that we've looked at towns, let's have a look at fortresses. You remember we did the same thing. We attacked the pop with a million T7 and a million T8. It was guarded with 50 million T7. And we had a look at how many units we killed with T7. In the beginning with VIP 55, we killed 27,000, which increased with VIP 60 to 39,300. So that's an increase of 12,245 units. And with the T8, it increased from 64,900 to 91,400. Well, on this slide, it looks like T8 is growing faster, but you need to consider that the base is also bigger, because when we look at the percentages, it will look slightly different, and that is in a second. So we increased from 64,000 to 91, and that is an additional 26,515. Now, let's have a look at the percentage increases versus previous level, and they are pretty similar. T7 and T8 increase from 55 to T56 by 6%, to 57 by 8 and 7%, then 7%, 8 and 9%, and then again 8 and 9%. The difference is rather small in this case. Personally, I would have expected T8 to come out stronger, to be honest, and I'm not entirely sure why it is not the case, because there is one difference between T7 and T8, which is a bonus T8 warrior offense during attack of 800% that you get with VIP 60. This T8 warrior offense with level 40 is on 0, with level 55 VIP it is on 525, and it then increases to 800 with VIP 60. So from my point of view, it should come out on top, but strangely enough, it doesn't. If you have an explanation for this, feel free, please give me a hint in the comments. Maybe that's something we can have a more detailed look at. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty close, and the increase is pretty decent as well. Now again, the cumulated increase from 55 or index to level 55, we see that overall VIP 60 to 55, the increase is 45%, 47 and 41% for T8. And that is quite an impressive increase, especially when we compare it to the increase that we had on towns, which for the full OS was 34 at max for the T1 OS, and the highest we got was 38 on towns with T8 against Loki. So the 45 that we get here shows how strong VIP actually gets when fighting fortresses. You remember we did the same thing with a full T1 OS. We started killing 1,081,000, and that increased to 1.624 million. That sounds incredible. It also is incredible. That is 543,000 more. Let's have a look on what this means in terms of percentages. It is from 55 to 56, 6%, then 9%, for 57, 8% for 58, 10% for 59, and 9% for VIP 60 versus VIP 59. So the last few levels also add up a bit more versus the previous levels, and we see that here with the additional effect of the onslaught bonuses that we get from VIP, it really adds up. Let's have a look at what this means in terms of total bonus compared to VIP 55, and that is what we see here. VIP 55 versus VIP 60, that is 50% more troops killed, which is just crazy. Because it's not just 50% on one stat, that is 50% that we killed more troops. So the real beauty of VIP really shows once you use it in an onslaught. We also had a look, as we did for towns, the ratios, because also for fortress fights it's always important to score your enemies. So we started with a ratio of 0.014. That is the amount of troops we killed compared to the troops we lost. So we want a higher number because we want to kill more troops with the troops that we lost, and we increased that from 0.14 to 0.21. Is that good? It is. We see that from 55 to 56, that ratio increased by 6%, and then 9, 8, 9, and 9% for the following levels. So in total, the ratios also got better by 48% with VIP 60 compared to VIP 55. We also tested defending fortresses, because a lot of the time you're not attacking them, sometimes you're also defending them. And I had a look at how many troops I lose. I was defending with 50 million T7 and I got attacked by 1 million T7. We saw that for towns it was not such a great improvement with VIP. Here we see that in the beginning we lost 14,598 and that decreased all the way down to 13,548. Is that any good for towns? As said, we've seen it was not that good, and for fortresses it is not as good either. It decreases by 1% in the beginning, and then the final two levels add up 2%. That is not that big of a deal, but that is only versus previous level. If we accumulate these numbers, we see that VIP 55 versus VIP 60 makes us lose 7% less troops. So here the effect is visible a lot more than with towns, and that is due to the fact that we get an additional 550%, or I must say that we get a total of 550% troop offense, defense, and health when guarding fortresses. With VIP 40 we only have 50%, so on top we get 500%, and that is the effect that we see here. Now a completely different topic, but one which is equally important, and it is marching size. We did have a look at different scenarios when it comes to marching size, and the first one is a normal attack on towns. Not that interesting, because I think you rarely do normal attacks on towns. Usually you do onslaughts. We have a look at this in a second. Sometimes, if you watch my yacht videos, I do use normal attacks when my march needs to be super quick. So in the beginning with VIP 55, we started with 76,914,000, and that increased all the way up to 78,610,000. We also see it directly on this slide, the increase versus level 55, and that overall is an increase of 2.2%, or in terms of total numbers, 1.696 million. Scouts, one thing that a lot of people love to do, especially on me, and I started with VIP 55 with 92,671,000, and that increased all the way up to 97,760. You see that increases by a lot more, and we also see it in the percentages. It is 5.5% more, so the marching size on scouts is increasing a lot more than the ones for attacking towns, and that is a total of 5,088,000 more troops, so roughly 5.1 million. And that is also part of the reason why you have the feeling scout attacks became so much stronger. Well, this is part of it. Reinforcements on fortresses. Very important, because nowadays you need less people to defend a fortress. And in the setup in the beginning, level 55, I was able to reinforce the fortress with 86,124,000 troops, and that scaled up to 89,516, which is 3,392,000 more, so roughly 3.4 million more troops that I could put in a fortress just with the VIP upgrade. That is a percentage increase of 3.9%, and that shows us that the march size increased most for scouts, then for reinforcements on fortresses, and then warriors when attacking a town. Which doesn't mean that you can't attack a town with more troops, because we will have at the OS sizes now. So first let's talk about the OS sizes on fortresses. In this case we tested it on pop, and you can see the yellow line is my own march size, and then the percentage increase of the own march size versus level 55. So overall from 55 to VIP 60 it increased by 1.8% in total, and the march size increased from 96,216 to 97,913, and that equals to 1.696 million more troops, which is the exact same amount of troops that we saw earlier with the warrior march size on towns. So that doesn't change. For the OS sizes on towns, and here I will have a look at my own march size that I can put in an OS, and that increased from 96,505,000 to 98,201,000. That is also an increase by 1.8%, the exact same increase percentage-wise as for onslaughts on fortresses. So that again is an increase of roughly 1.7 million more troops that I can put in an OS. Where it gets interesting is the OS size. So if I'm setting an OS, by how much does it increase? And we started with an OS size of 243 million, and that increased up to 245,367,000. Overall, an increase of 1%. Doesn't sound much. Overall, it is 2.363 million more troops that a clan can put in an OS on towns. One more thing that VIP increased was the marching speed. We tested it with T7 warriors all across the map without plunderer, and with every VIP level we remember it increased by roughly a minute. So in total it decreased from 2 hours 28 to 2 hours 22, which is a total decrease of 4%. So it does decrease, but it does not have the effect of a plunderer, for example. And we've seen this in the tests because my marches were still so slow. Same for scout marches. They are generally faster. They only needed 46 minutes to run all across the map, and that went down to 45 minutes, still a lot, and the decrease is only 3% in total from VIP 60 to VIP 55. And now the last thing, and I must say I wouldn't have thought that this is probably one of my favorites because the increase is quite incredible. I think nobody would have expected this to increase by that much, and it is Convoy Capacity. We started with a Convoy Capacity with VIP 55 of 35,423,000,000, and that increased all the way up to 47,173,000,000. In total, an increase of 33%. So you can send a third more, which means if you want to send someone a certain amount of resources, well, guess what? That is less clicks for you. So to sum it up, we've seen some great increases when it comes to killing troops, when attacking towns, when attacking fortresses. We lose less troops, we get better ratios when we attack. The marching speed is a bit faster, and we can even send a lot more resources to our clanmates and allies. And I think one of the questions remains, is it worth focusing on the increase of your VIP level? And it's not a recommendation in general to spend money on a game, but I think if you do anyway, that if you got a certain budget and that is part of your game routine, I personally think that going for VIP is currently, by the time I make this video, one of the best investments that you can actually do in the game, because getting your account to a VIP 60 is a very noticeable increase in your power. So overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, that it helped you figure out how VIP works, by how much it actually makes your account stronger. In case you didn't realize that yet, I'm sure everybody has a high VIP level in his clan that is currently soaking all the shards, and you became the meat shield. I think we really understood that focusing on VIP is one of the things that you need to do if you want to play this game on a competitive level. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this in-depth guide. I know it was very long. Thank you for staying with me. If you made it this far in the series and in this video, thank you so much for staying with me. It was a lot of work, and if you stayed, that is already a lot of appreciation for me. So thank you very much. Right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I also really hope to see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.